4 a.m. First Fruits. This is a chapter by chapter Bible study series, and we're in Job chapter 37. I've officially changed Elihu's name to Elihu The Enigma. Enigma is just a fancy word for saying that something is mysterious, puzzling, and you just don't know what to make of them. This chapter is the last of his speech, right before God is going to respond. I have been reading what Elihu is saying, and I don't know what to make of him. Apparently, I'm not the only one, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. Verse 1. My heart pounds at this and leaps from my chest. Listen to his thunderous voice and the rumbling that comes from his mouth. He lets it loose beneath the entire sky, his lightning to the ends of the earth. I don't know if you remember, but at the end of last chapter, Elihu was starting to shift his speech, his focus to God's majesty and nature. And it seems to start the same way in 37. My heart pounds at this and leaps from my chest. A lot of scholars interpret this beginning of this chapter as Elihu actually visually seeing a storm approaching and forming near them, which this will be very significant very soon. 4. Then there comes a roaring sound, and God thunders with his majestic voice. He does not restrain the lightning. When his rumbling voice is heard, God thunders wondrously with his voice. He does great things we cannot comprehend, for he says to the snow, fall to the earth, and the torrential rains, his mighty torrential rains. The Enigma gives us such powerful descriptions of God and using natural phenomena, making God's ways incomprehensible. We cannot understand God fully in our human fragile wisdom, and we see it in Job. Elihu shifted from the same empty accusations that his other friends, and then he is now talking about God's power. It is such a flip-flop, just like us little humans. The reason why E is talking about God and his glory in this way is he's trying to explain to Job that he should not question God. In 19, he says, teach us what we should say to him. We cannot prepare our case because of our darkness. Should he be told what I want to speak? Can a man speak when he is confused? Now, no one can even look at the sun when it is in the skies after a wind has swept through and cleared the clouds away. Elihu is saying we cannot even question God. We couldn't question God. Thank you, Jesus, our mediator. It's really cool that some people interpret a storm is coming, which isn't unlike God. Manifestations of God's presence to humans are called theophanies. Leave it up to me to mispronounce a word, but I think it's actually theophanies. And here's some more of them in the Bible if you're interested in looking into this more. The burning bush, the pillar of cloud and fire, Mount Sinai, where the 10 Commandments came about, the still small voice parting the Red Sea, the day the sun stood still, and we can't forget about the rainbow. There is so many, and we're about to read about one in the next chapter. Now here's why I want to name Elihu Enigma Elihu. So many scholars have interesting theories about Elihu, what his purpose was, tone of voice, trying to interpret how we should view Elihu. And it is very difficult because we all have different interpretations, which shows us that our human wisdom is somewhat blocked. And here's some of the interpretation. Some people view Elihu as a satanic tool because he had such a pompous, foolish type way of speaking. He was very arrogant and just he thought he had all the knowledge. Not to mention the false accusations, which we found out in the prologue that Satan was accusing Job and telling God, yeah, that's fine, but if you take everything away from him, he will definitely curse you to your face. Some people view Elihu as a divine messenger, shifting the focus to God before God comes in and also shows his glory. And a literary pivot is another way that scholars view Elihu, symbolizing the reader. Elihu just pops into the picture randomly. We have no idea where he comes from. He comes in last, right before God. Someone who thinks they have all the answers, yet they just truly don't. And the only thing they can express is God's glory that they've observed. Thank you for watching this 4 a.m. and I'll see you in the next 4 a.m. when the Lord speaks.